Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Janita Miller, and I will take you today through the accounting officer methodology. So just for simplicity purposes, I have already included a trial balance. So I've included my 2021 figures and also my 2020 prior year figures. Cool. There we go. Let's just check. 2021 is also done. Okay. So working trial balance done and dusted, financial statements, not getting to that yet, but now I can show you how the engagement working papers work. Okay, so first of all, our planning in the accounting officer methodology is split between the engagement and team setup and then also planning knowledge of business. So first of all, section 10 is more to assess the team and the firm for their competency in actually accepting and doing this engagement. So 10.00 is where you now need to document your engagement, acceptance and continuance considerations. So first of all, we have this nice setup sheet where you need to answer certain questions. And then secondly, you need to answer the engagement, acceptance and continuance questions. Ultimately, the major part in this document is completing this section here. So what is the PR score of the entity and what is the nature of the procedures required? So let's quickly take a look at that. First of all, does the entity fall under the Companies Act of South Africa? You need to decide yes or no. And then based on that, you need to fill in the questions. Okay. Calculating the PI score and then engagement type considerations. So just for simplicity, I'm going to say this is 56 average number of employees, total third-party liabilities 1.5 million, total turnover, let's say 50 million, and then number of beneficials with direct interest, individuals with direct interest, 4. Okay, now you need to answer these questions. Audited in terms of the MOI, no. Holds assets and fiduciary capacity, no. Shareholders, is it owner managed? No. And then elected to be voluntarily audited or reviewed. I'm just going to set that as no. And then voluntary accounting officer report as well. We are not involved and this entity does not have any public interest. So based on that, you will now need to say, okay, listen, is an audit required? Draftworx populates this for you. So here we see it's yes, because now my PR score is above 100 and financial statements are internally compiled. So just for ease of reference, I'm going to say no. Now you will see here an audit is no longer required, but an accounting officer report is required and also indicates section 92B is not applicable. Jumping back, you'll now see these fields are populated. Now you just need to evaluate whether you are going to accept or decline the engagement. And this is quite crucial for you to document that you are going to accept or decline the engagement. Furthermore, you now need to document your identification of components and cycles. This will enable Draftworx to populate the correct programs for you to use. So include in the engagement, you need to specify we don't have any investment property. However, we do have PPE and we do have depreciation. Going down, we do have some investment income. We also have some inventories and cost of sales, trade receivables, revenue. There's a bank overdraft account. So just going through everything and select it. After everything is selected, you now have identified the components that you actually want to include in your accounting officer engagement. Now we need to do the following working paper, which is our engagement letter. Please remember to populate this engagement letter and have it signed and have a signed copy included in your Draftworx file, as this is your file which is going to be archived when the engagement is done. We now need to document our knowledge of business, which can be allocated in 12.05. Description of the main business, supplementary business activities, key management, etc. So just based on question and answer, fill out this document and complete all the fields required. After the planning is done, you now need to populate your working paper programs. So we've built in this function here where you can actually now see why you don't have any working programs yet. So first of all, you have to identify on section 10.20 which sections should have been documented. And then you actually now need to go and populate your working paper procedures. Okay. To populate the working paper programs, you need to ensure that document 10.20 has been correctly completed. So all the sections that you want to perform work on has been identified. And then secondly, remember, you had to accept the engagement in 10.00. So after that was done, I can now go to the methodology tab and populate my working paper programs. The working paper menu will now get larger and all the working paper programs will be included. Opening that up, you will be able to identify procedures and select procedures to be applicable and to be executed. Okay, so there we go. Now you can document your procedures here. And it will be populated for you. And a working paper program will be designed in order to distribute to your trainees to be executed. After the working papers have been completed and all the fieldwork has been done, you now reach the finalization stage of your accounting officer engagement, which is very easy. We have this one working paper where you document your finalization procedures, and then we also provide you with a management report template and a management representation letter, which can be filled in and distributed accordingly. Cool, so that is accounting officer in a nutshell. Please stay tuned for any new updates on our accounting officer engagement.